How you doing?
Where have you been?
So a lot of people turn to religion for a whole bunch of different reasons. But if you're trying to enjoy being single, talking to a priest probably isn't the way. To show you what I mean, here's 40 days and 40 nights.
So, shall we get it on? Started?
So we meet this guy Matt, who's really upset that his girlfriend Nicole broke up with him.
He's a real mess about you. It was a little pathetic.
He thinks that if he hangs out with other girls, maybe he'll forget about her, but it just makes him think about her more. And then he hallucinates, has a panic attack, and runs away.
Some guys are just different about this stuff, you know?
And even though he knows this happens every time, he keeps hanging out with more girls.
He's a horny bastard, isn't he?
And instead of changing that, he goes to his brother, who's a priest in training, and asks him to ask God to make him better.
I'm not lighting a candle so you can feel better about getting laid.
He tells Matt that he needs to be nicer to girls, or Jesus won't like him. So he's gonna try, but his roommate wants him to go out with some girls tonight, and Matt's like, who is that Jesus guy again?
You know my name?
But while he's playing with one of the girls, he starts hallucinating before anything really happens.
Have you ever noticed a crack on my ceiling?
His roommate tells him, to hell with your mental health. You might ruin my night if you don't go back in there. So he does, but he ends up ruining everyone's night by not being able to pretend that he's having fun.
Oh!
But he can't seem to figure out that his problem is that he really doesn't like the girls he's been playing with. Some of them are just mean.
Waiter, this isn't Absolute vodka. I ordered Absolute.
Yes, it is.
Are you calling me a liar?
I mean, would you rather play Legos with your best friend or just some random kid?
Sorry, I hope I didn't come off as mean.
So at work the next morning, the bagel guy tells him that Nicole is engaged. Since they've only been broken up for 6 months, he can't believe it and runs to her work to look in her window like a stalker. He sees that it's true, so he goes to see his brother again. He's not much help.
Tell me what I can do.
I don't know what to tell you.
But the real priest tells him about Lent.
What's Lent?
It's when you give up the thing you love the most for 40 days for Jesus. And Matt's going to give up girls for Lent. But now that I think about it, right now, girls really aren't his favorite thing.
What do you mean?
Okay, let me ask you this. What would you give up?
Cheesecake.
Okay, let's say you give up cheesecake. But before you did, you ate so much cheesecake that you didn't even really want it anymore. And then let's say that every time you've eaten cheesecake lately, the cheesecake gave you horrible explosive diarrhea. It really wouldn't be that hard to give up cheesecake for a while, would it?
It's so hard giving up what you love the most.
So he runs back into his brother.
No sex for Lent. For 40 days. If I can do that, then everything will be okay.
But he says giving up girls isn't enough.
So we can't play with boys either?
No, he's really not interested in playing with boys. He goes a step further and isn't even allowed to play with himself.
Stop playing with yourself.
No masturbation.
No jerking off?
So is it that you hate your penis?
He leaves the church happy with his decision and goes home to box up all of his, toys.
It's a penis stretcher.
And he decides that he's going to have a lot more time to himself, so he starts by doing his laundry. And he must have always forgotten his detergent in the past because he has a secret stash hidden in the wall. Some chick walks in as he's pulling it out, and for the next however long it takes to do laundry, he politely dismisses her while she tries to talk to him because girls are icky right now.
It's been really fun almost chatting with you.
But somehow, she's into it and wants to do laundry with him next week.
Same time next week?
6 days later, Ryan finds out about his Lent thing and tells him how weird it is.
It goes against science. You want to be the guy who goes against science?
He doesn't think he can go through with it.
Are you out of your fucking mind? You're the guy who can't finish a sandwich. You think you can go 40 days?
So he and some other guys from work make a betting pool on whether Matt will fail. By day 11, Matt is really happy, but some girls at work are making things hard for him.
Do not despair and do not go inside.
And Matt doesn't suspect that the guys at the office are up to anything. And later that night, he goes to do laundry again.
Wasn't he supposed to meet her in a week?
Yeah, but apparently the writer can't count and might not know when Lent is. See, it starts on Ash Wednesday, which obviously falls on a Wednesday. And now he asks,
So you normally do your laundry on Friday nights?
and if this is day 11, it can't be Friday.
Nice going, dumbass.
Time really shouldn't be this hard to keep track of.
God, yes.
But they really hit it off after he finds out she's tired of people because they're boring. And also because she looks at pervert websites all day for children.
That's a long time to be looking for porn, Matt.
But they still set up a date, and not just any date. The most boring sounding date in the world.
He is taking her on the bus.
So on Wednesday, which somehow is a Thursday in their world, They ride the bus around town and are way too happy about being on public transport.
Let's hurry. I'm getting hives just from being around all these ugly people.
They then don't get kicked off when the driver's shift ends, and he gets the perfect setup to tell her about his Lent deal.
What about you? Any criminal records, addictions, or weird little secrets I should know about right now?
But doesn't. But instead, gets really awkward.
I know, we kind of go shopping together.
Why doesn't he just want to have sex with me?
The next day, we find out that Erica is not cool with being just friends with him.
Totally sucks.
And Matt finds out that not only are his friends betting on his failure, but they build a website to take it globally. And because of the nature of his vow, the site is flagged by the company Erica works for. She finds out about the vow, but apparently doesn't read anything about why he's doing what he's doing because it started on the day they met, so automatically assumes it's about her.
What is this, some kind of a bet not to sleep with me?
No.
And now she's pissed that she's not getting her way.
Oh, so I'm like some science experiment?
No.
So she's embarrassed. But the funny thing is that she would have had to volunteer the information that they're dating in order to be embarrassed. And apparently there are no Catholics in this business that could bring up the significance of the 40 days. But given how many people were at Mass on Ash Wednesday, you kind of believe it.
And you all should be ashamed of yourselves.
He goes home to yell at Ryan, but he doesn't care. Matt tells him that doing Lent is getting him over Nicole, so Ryan thinks now is the best time to tell him that the woman he loves is engaged to a serial cheater.
This isn't what it looks like.
Erica now can't do her job because it reminds her of Matt.
Even donkey lovers?
Perverts remind her of Matt? Is he a pervert?
Honestly, everyone associated with this story is a pervert.
Those are good. You still think about it when you jerk off?
I've jerked off 3 times since lunch. I still have this fucking hard on.
2 more and you break the company record.
Is he twisting her nipple?
It makes me just want to throw it down, and just...
But anyway, Matt hopes that he can apologize to Erica for not doing anything wrong, but she apologizes to him first, and then they go to dinner. It is super awkward because they would rather be doing something more funner.
Sex.
But also because Nicole and her fiance are there too. They manage to see him when he draws some attention to himself, and Erica gets mad when he blanks on her name, which he does, not only because he's bumping into his ex for the first time since they've broken up, but also because he was just on fire.
I'm not ashamed! I'm embarrassed!
But she really gets mad when he says the vow isn't about Nicole and storms off wearing a dead Muppet.
Don't be stupid, Erica.
He goes after her to say that it'll stop, and she gets even madder.
Oh, sure, now St. Matt wants a piece.
No, that's not it at all.
You don't want me?
But at no point does he tell her that this is a religious thing to help her understand. First, she thinks it's about him being a pervert.
I would have thought I was some kind of sex addict.
Are you?
No!
Then, it's about her.
What is this, some kind of a bet not to sleep with me?
No.
Then, it's about Nicole.
She's the real reason you took that vow.
Fuck yeah! Bitch.
When all he had to say is, I'm not jerking it for Jesus.
Dude.
The next day, Matt finds out what Ryan meant when he said what he was doing was going against nature.
See, us having the power, that's part of the system. And by you taking the power, you're fucking with the system.
So to get the power back, 2 girls play with each other to tempt him to join.
So you want to have sex with me to regain the power?
So it seems, now that Erica's told him to finish, everything around him is giving him a reason to break it.
This morning at the coffee shop, they were unofficially sponsoring Hot Women Wearing No Bras Day.
Like hot women wearing no bras?
I mean like hot women.
It's now day 35, and one of his buddies is trying to drug him to win the bet by putting pills in his orange juice that he's drinking with Chinese food.
Gross.
Yeah, that sounds like a cult.
But his boss ends up drinking it, so the guy just goes up to him and asks him to end it, and they can split the money. But Matt sees how pathetic his boss looks and jumps out the window.
And I think it's genius.
Even though he's so close to finishing, he goes to Erica and spills all his dirt for her. He then bangs her with a flower.
Do not despair and do not go inside.
And 3 days later, he's still sniffing it, and she's just now telling her roommate about that night.
He didn't even try to touch you? Gay is different to some people.
Later that night, Nicole comes over to tell him that she's single again.
Oh, it sucks that her engagement to a guy she met 2 weeks ago failed.
Right? But now she really wants him back because he doesn't want her anymore.
You'll end up a pathetic, lonely old woman who makes her co-workers watch videos of her cat's lame-ass birthday parties.
She ends up finding out about his deal on day 39 and wants to ruin it for him.
This all started because of me. It only seems natural that I should end it, huh?
So she goes to place a bet against him, and somehow no one he works with knows who she is. I mean, he never even had a picture of her there? That's hard to believe.
Hi, I'm one of the many pictures of Nicole that infest Ryan and Matt's apartment after 6 months.
So it's the last day, and he thinks that getting through it will be hard. So he doesn't think he can go through with it all. He thinks there's too many distractions, so he goes to see his brother. Even he can't help, because even he thinks girls are better than Jesus.
I'm slipping, Matt. I've already slipped.
So he turns to drinking, which lowers your standards and inhibitions.
Yesterday was fine. I mean, physically speaking, I was fine. But today, I almost fucked an outlet today.
He also took up smoking too, and Ryan has turned to bondage hookers.
Oh, put me in for a tenner.
They handcuff him to his bed and leave the door open. He falls asleep and wakes up to finding out how much Nicole wants him now that she can't have him.
What else do you want?
When she leaves, Erica comes in to find Matt handcuffed to his bed, and then victim blames him after he was assaulted, and she's not getting the night she thought she was gonna have. And I guess he was too drunk to remember the plan he made with Ryan.
When she comes, I'll tell her I was accosted by home invaders.
This doesn't seem like one of those truth will set you free situations.
So she storms out.
Bye.
10 days later, Matt drops off a decorative shoebox to her.
It's not good enough.
You can go to Tiffany's and have a fat businessman from Cleveland buy you all the diamonds you want.
And apparently cried to her roommate, so she thinks she should give him another shot.
Call him or leave. You're bugging me.
Finally, she has to do laundry, and apparently he's been staking out the laundromat for a week so he could corner her.
I've been here every day this week.
He grabs her head to kiss her, and somehow everything's all better. His coworkers even come over to support his new relationship.
So what was the reason you liked this girl again?
Shut up, she's, I don't know. Now you're gonna subscribe to the channel and like the video.
Go out and give your star player the support he needs, right?
Are you done talking now?
Relax, baby. It's over.
Oh my god, I gotta go.